Hello and welcome to Entrepreneur Productivity Hacks. My name is Joel, and in this module, we're going to be talking about getting your time back, specifically some hacks for managing your time and leveraging it, which all starts with tracking it. So let's talk about what we're going to cover. I want to cover 4 things with you in this module. Number 1, how to track your entire week in just 5 minutes and what you can gain from it. Number 2, how to take it a step further and save paying someone hundreds an hour to tell you the exact same thing. Number 3, the excuses you're going to give me and the answers I'm going to give to you, so we get that right out of the way. And number 4, the insights you are going to learn from doing this super simple exercise. So let's jump right in. The very first thing I want to talk to you about is passively tracking your time. Now, this is for us who are maybe not convinced all the way that tracking your time is such a good idea. Okay, so what this does is give you a baseline for where you are right now. Hardly anyone does this, and if you can just take 5 minutes to do this, you're going to be way ahead of them, so it's completely worth it. If you're on a computer a lot throughout the day, you may need a refresher on what you're accomplishing. So that's why we want to track your time spent on the computer so we can figure out how to make it more productive. So what I want to show you is a very simple app called Rescue Time, and it is a free app that works on both the Mac and the PC. What it does is, I'll show you right here, it runs in the background, you never even know it's up, and it tracks your time spent on applications and websites and gives you a report of that time spent on those different websites. You can set alerts, you can log in the highlights, you can start seeing patterns and trends. It's extremely insightful. Now, what are you going to learn from Rescue Time? How are you going to benefit from this? So number 1, you're going to get an extra pair of eyes. A lot of times you're just way too close to your own schedule to critique it. Number 2, it's going to give you a big picture of your days and weeks. This is extremely helpful when we are in the weeds a lot of times and we need to plan ahead. For those of us who have a tough time planning ahead, this is going to be extremely helpful. And then the third thing is just, this is the perfect start to figuring out what you can get off your plate, what you can delegate, what you can outsource, what you shouldn't be doing. So let me show you some of pics of exactly what this app does, and I'll show you some of my own stuff. First off, the reports that it gives you, it tracks your activities and splits it up into a couple different things. It can give you by website. So you can see that I was on Google and Google Docs and Gmail most of the day. You can see I was on Facebook a little bit. I was on Rescue Time a little bit. I was on my Google Drive. And what I can automatically see from that is if I wasn't on Facebook for a client, I might need to cut down on that a little bit. That was an hour and a half, or maybe my Gmail is way too much, spending too much time on your email. The second way you can look at this data is by category. So you can see here that this is on communication and schedule, which is most likely email. We're looking at design, we're looking at business, we're looking at utilities, reference. So what insights can you draw from this, from your own activity? And this is just after a week. The third thing is the dashboard, which is really cool. You can do it by day, by week, and by month. And you can see it puts all your data together, shows you how much time. Like I said, this is just an activity. I've done it. I like tracking it for a month, and then I don't do it for a little bit, and then I come back and see what progress I'm making. I can see that 30% was spent on communication and scheduling, which was the 2 things I'm in probably the most, email and calendar, and docs, which is design and composition. So either I'm writing something or I am communicating with somebody. Now, if you can just take 5 minutes, set this up. All you got to do is go to this rescuetime.com/download and install it on your computer, and it, like I said, it'll run in the background. So after doing that, if you can dedicate just 1 week to that, write in the notes section and let me know. All right, now this next part is if you are an overachiever only. If you want to take it a step further and get much, much bigger insights into how you spend your day, don't just track the apps you use, track the activities you use. This is a way where you can see so much more, and guess what? It's beautiful because it's free as well. Now, there are different apps out there. There's apps like Slim Timer, which is free. Time Doctor is a free trial. And then there's one that we're going to use called Toggle, and I'm going to show you that. Now, here's what you're going to learn from actively tracking your time. Number one, you're going to figure out how much time you spend on each account or client versus how much revenue you're earning. And so if you think that you're making X amount an hour and you see that you're spending way more time than you really think you are on somebody, it might be time to reevaluate what you're doing. The next thing is, what tasks are we always underestimating? What's taking longer than you expect? For example, I always underestimate creating proposals, or at least I did until I systemized them, and now I know exactly how long it took me. But I would overthink the different sections in each proposal, and I would just take forever. I would schedule it thinking that it would only take me 30 minutes and an hour would pass, or an hour and a half, and I'm still stuck on it. So what is the tasks that you are underestimating? And more importantly, why are you underestimating them? The other great thing is figuring out when you're the most productive. You can see your activity throughout the days and weeks. You may be more productive at the beginning or middle or end of the week. And then what do you need to spend more time on? That's the very last thing. All right, let's jump straight into the app and let me show you exactly what it is and how to use Toggle. This is exactly what the little widget looks like, and you can add a new task right here, just like that. You hit stop when you're done, and that's literally all you have to do. So you do have to really think about what you're doing so you can categorize it. You can't just let it run in the background. It's easy to forget if you have it behind your window or something. So here's an example of what it looks on the web. And I like using the desktop. It has mobile. It's for Mac and Windows. But this little window pops up. You put what you're working on. You hit start, and now you have your day-by-day breakdown. You can categorize it and tag it. Like I said, works for everything. And the beautiful thing is, it is free to sign up. All you need is one single user account. You don't need a bunch of the extra stuff that they offer, so that is absolutely perfect. Now, I wanted to give you a couple quick excuses that I hear the most often when I'm working with clients, helping them track their time to initially save hours a week. And here's the two biggest ones that I hear. Number one, I do something different every day. Now, what I say to that is, you may do different things every day, but I promise you, you will be surprised to see how many of the small tasks are the exact same. Yes, you may do something different every day. Your days are unpredictable, so are mine. But those days are made up of components, and those components are oftentimes very similar to each other. And you're going to see that there's ways that you can improve those. And number two, I'm never going to outsource or hire someone. And that's completely great. That's legitimate. But if you never systemize what you're doing, you are never going to improve it. If you never document what you're doing, if you never figure it out, you're going to be, no matter if you own your own business, you're just going to be an employee in that business because all you're doing is trying to figure out what's next. You'll never actually build something if you can't get that foundation. All right, what I want you to do after you track your time, now for at least 1 week on Toggle or Rescue Time or both, is read your results. Take a moment and think about your week after looking at those reports. What's your first reaction to them after checking those out? Note where you spend the most time and what was the reason for spending all that time. And look at the patterns in your days and weeks. What's reoccurring? What should be reoccurring but isn't? What is on and off? And the last thing I want you to do is identify the areas you need to increase your focus and areas you need to pay less attention to. So just take 20 minutes, dig into those insights and reports, and please do not skip those. All right, let me give you your action items. Number one, sign up for Rescue Time and start tracking your time today. I don't care if it's the beginning or end of the week, whatever you're doing, just start tracking it. Number two, take it a step further and sign up for a time tracking app. Remember, I recommend Toggle. It's free. They both are. You can use whatever you want, whatever you will use. That's what makes the difference. Number 3, track your time for at least 1 week. And then lastly, remember, do not skip this. Take 20 minutes and dig into those reports and really figure out what you did, and then share those with us on the course discussion. All right, this next module, you're going to learn how to take all those tasks that you found out what you were doing, all those insights, and start putting them to good use with systemizing. We're going to learn exactly how that is, and that it's not such a dirty word that everybody makes it out to be.